On the future of China-U.S. relations, we're joined in the studio now by Sourabh Gupta, a senior Asia-Pacific International Relations Policy Specialist. He's at the Institute for China-America Studies. Almost took me all my breath to say all of your title. It's quite impressive. Former Australian Prime Minister Kevin Rudd says this entire world looks at this relationship. It's not just the U.S. and China. Everybody's looking at it. I think both of us would agree with that. He says the question is, how do you carve out a future that is peaceful and mutually prosperous? And that's a really good question. It sounds great on paper. How do you do it?
The way one attempts to do that is try to find the areas where there is commonality in outlook, commonality in approach, and commonality thereafter in policy. And you try to move together in trying to frame that policy, because there are differences. And I know it sounds very familiar. Let's try to our common objectives are much greater than our differences, and let's move forward on that basis. But there is real value in trying to go down that path. Countries have managed their relations that way, and now we have two peers who basically lead the world, and they have to do it because it's that important.
It's interesting, at Mar-a-Lago, they came up with these new dialogues, 4 dialogues, and a lot of people said that the old ones were kind of clunky and not working. It seems as though they're more focused. I want to get your sense of what the objectives have been with the 4 dialogues and what the successes have been in your estimation.
Obviously, of the 4 dialogues, the 2 ones which are of greater immediacy and importance have been the comprehensive economic dialogue and the diplomatic and security dialogue. And that's why they were held earlier. While we did have the people-to-people exchange and we have the cyber dialogue sometime in late September, it's useful that all dialogues have been had so that they can then do a review, a stock-taking of where the situation stands. But it's been very important that at least the diplomatic dialogue and the economic dialogue move forward on an expedited basis, because there are real issues of tension involved out there. And again, issues on which they can have common approaches, like North Korea, but where it's not that easy to harmonize policy. And so it's important from that perspective that they have made it not just a big, large talk fest. They have done it into concrete, discrete bits and trying to find common ground.
Yeah, it's been fascinating to watch. Sourabh Gupta, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of you over the next week or so. Thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it.